Hello, you crazies and loons. This is Buddy's Room, and my name is Roger.
Hey, my name's Chris, and this is Buddy's Room.
Hey, Raj.
Hey, how you doing, Chris?
I'm good.
So we got us a guest here.
Yeah, we got the big Kurt the Hurt.
We got Kurt here. Kurt's he's from Las Vegas, but he's also an employee of the ranch, Buddy's Ranch. And he does a lot of remote classes and stuff like that, but he comes up here, once a month? You come up here and spend a week.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's good to have you here.
Thanks,
I'm glad you're
excited.
here. Yeah.
I'm really excited to be here.
I've heard a lot of good stuff about you, and then I heard the flip side, the not so good stuff.
Right.
Chris tells all the horror stories.
I know he does. Yeah, we go way back. That's why.
He's my mentor, my big brother, my family. Kurt is.
Love you, brother.
I love you too, man.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Excited.
Good. So, Kurt, if you could, can you give us a little background on how you came into recovery and what got you here today?
Okay. Well, first of all, I mean, I don't, as far as recovery, I think my pattern is many sobriety dates until the last sobriety date. You know what I mean? That's the pattern it was. Through years of drinking, years of not being able to find any sort of life for myself, in a sense, I hid everything behind alcohol, you know, and with that became just, you know, atrocious, toxic behavior, violent kind of lifestyle, created no healthy coping skills. I was very impulsive in everything I did. So it made it rough for me to get any sort of long-term sobriety. And it didn't always start off that way. You know, I was a good kid in high school. I was a great athlete, and, you know, and I traded it in for, tough guy work and alcohol and other chemicals that came with that. So, and through that, you know, a lot of institutions, a lot of detoxes, about 20 recovery homes, a couple 5150s you had to throw in there just for measure because, you know, I kind of liked that atmosphere. I didn't have to impress anybody, you know, and the Zoloft was just really tremendous. So,
I liked it, and I could always win extra ice creams from the other
I did like the extra ice cream too. And it still had back then it had the plastic thing.
Did you big boy ice cream?
I did. Yeah. So, you know, met a lot of good friends there, and it was actually released though. So, you know, through my toxic tornado and the kids and the wives at the time and the things that I was doing was just in a sense, you can say just a living nightmare. That's what I was doing. And I always knew I was a pretty good guy. I didn't know how to be that sober. You know, I loved everything that alcohol had to offer. I mean, everything. I mean, it was my friend. It was my lover. It was everything that I ever wanted it to be. And unfortunately, at one time it stopped working. And my last run, was in Tucson, Arizona. I'd been drinking about a gallon a day for a while, and I got into a little bit of trouble, and I went through a period of a 48-hour blackout and committed many felonies within that 24 to 48-hour period. And they gave me an opportunity, by my own will, to, hey, we're going to send you to California because somebody said you had family there. And no treatment center would take me because of my violentness, and a guy, AA First Step Sober Living, and a guy named Dino took it upon me and brought me in there, and that's where my journey started 10 plus years ago. And I just got in the car and just started doing stuff. You know, the old school AA that you're familiar with, you know, just get in the car, don't ask questions, you're going to do this. And I did that, and the relationship with the kids, they were, you know, still kind of worried because I was always saying sorry everywhere I went. You know, we all know that sorry without action is manipulation, and I was doing that. I was a master manipulator on all ends of the spectrum. So just little old school AA, being of service. And to rewind back, I got into the field of addiction as far as a counselor back in 1995, you know, with the Buena Park Community Hospital, the old care unit in Orange. I was with them doing discharge planning. So I've been in the industry a while, but like I said, my drinking continued, you know, because in all hindsight, counselors and case managers have a high relapse rate because
you're in the disease all the time. You're in the chaos all the time.
And then you use what you do on a daily basis to substitute for your program. You're not doing anything on the out.
Exactly. You're not doing any. You're not fixing your inside.
Self-care.
You're busy fixing everybody else.
Correct.
And all of a sudden you get caught up and think that you're got a good program when we don't.
Right. So I seen that. I seen the dynamic that has actually happened to me at one point in time. And then as I got in that sober living, I just got busy. I just, I knew the altruistic part of the program, the unselfish concern for others. I had to really dive into that and, put alcoholics in my car and just take them to meetings, and my sponsor had me going to all men stags at first. He said, you're too much of a dirtbag to do anything else but that right now. So, I did that. And, when I got out, a lot of stuff, took place. I got a relationship who's my wife now, and she's, been in Al-Anon for 20 years, and I'm grateful for that.
Oh, wow.
And the dynamic has changed. And I know, for me here, when I got to Buddies, I was with another organization for many, many years, and I got over here and I was like, wow, the dynamic here is love and success. And it was really, how it was, implemented to me, and I'm just really grateful to be here. And I'm grateful for you guys that have welcomed me, through the process. And to breathe sobriety daily, I have to listen to the ones that have become before me, and I have to learn from the ones that are new.
Yeah.
So just like you guys know, it's not, So
me and Kurt communicate just about every morning. He sends me a little inspirational thing, and then I usually counter back on what my thoughts.
Good stuff back.
4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm early.
It's 5 or so, but I don't have to answer.
Yeah. A lot of people say that. I go, I hear your ding, at 4 o'clock. I go, I'm usually coming just back from the gym at that time. So.
Usually I get Kurt first, and then a few minutes after that, my sponsor sends me something every morning.
And I just think it's, with that, it's just, to be excited.
Yeah.
Because I know that alcoholics and drug addicts are naturally negative in their own concepts of things sometimes. So to get a little pumped, I'm that guy that's like when you were going on your music stuff, you were posting all your music stuff on Facebook and stuff. That stuff pumps me up because I'm a music guy, in all areas of music.
Right.
I'm an equal opportunity music employee.
Exactly.
I'll listen to it all from Grateful Dead to,
to hard metal
rap
to Pantera.
Right. To Pantera, which I'll be going to soon with my wife. It's funny.
And that's strange. Ozzy Osbourne, I think, just retired.
He did a final show, Yeah. So
with Black Sabbath.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Guns N' Roses,
they were all on there.
They were there, and that was the first time they got to meet them.
Right.
I'll tell you what, I've been pretty damn stoned in some Black Sabbath listening, and I've seen them live back in the day, but
I never got an opportunity. Yeah. Kurt, Kurt's the one that got me on up here at Buddy's Ranch. Yeah. I was in a really bad place. I lost a job that I was not guilty of losing, and Kurt, he came through for me once again, saved my life for a second time. Yeah, absolutely. He was my counselor when I went through treatment some years back, and I was fortunate to be able to hear him 5 days a week, teaching group, and I learned a lot. I had my notebook, and I was taking notes. I think I filled up about 2 notebooks full of notes, sitting right in the front row. Yeah, I was there.
Where are those notes now?
I think, a friend of ours, Daryl, he has them in a suitcase. I couldn't bring all my stuff up here, and I've not yet gotten all my stuff from Daryl.
We got to get that stuff. Let's give Daryl a call.
Yeah. We need to
send him an email or something. Let's give him a call.
Get Daryl up here on the podcast.
It's really cool. I got some of my old stuff, my first 4-step. I never burned it or anything, but I go through some of the journaling and the thoughts that were going through my process. And I realize when I look at that now, I was on time. Yeah. I was really enthusiastic. I was really happy. Yeah. In the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, it's wrote by people who have less than 4 years sobriety.
Yeah. Right.
And I think a lot of us in that area from from start to 4 years, if we make it, are just extremely enthused, and something happens. There becomes something spiritual that comes in us, and we become wiser than we ever thought we could possibly be.
Along with that psychic change, that we get.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's where it's at. Like I said, many sober livings, many different spots, many different sobriety dates. Old timers would tell me, if you don't change, your sobriety date will. And then you get into the dynamic of working in addiction, and you see the complexity of people coming in and out sometimes, and we're at the point in the industry, in our industries, I think that we do what we can to help that person. We can't base it on, hey, how many times you've been in treatment, but we have to look at that as one of the things that, hey, we're kind of looking at, as far as treatment episodes. But I get excited when I'm coming down here, being from Vegas, which is super strong recovery. We have really, really good, strong recovery out there. I mean, you have to. It's Las Vegas. So. And then out here, it's, some of the meetings remind me a little bit of an old school feel for me, kind of like back in the old Fullerton days when I first got clean and sober over there off Harbor at the old 705 Club.
I was in Fullerton, went to Fullerton College and JC, and I was nowhere close to sober. I was a light years from sobriety.
Now it's downtown, everything's happening down there. But that's where the roots, And then my sister got sober at the 202 club out in Anaheim. She passed at 15 years clean and decided to mess with a little methadone. Got her so. Just blessed. I'm just blessed. This is just for me to be here and to do what I do on a daily basis and to do what we do.
Yeah, the 707, that's the one that's close to Dino's place, right?
The 705? The original 705 club actually closed down. Now they're bringing back the Fullerton Alano Club, which actually closed down. A lot of Alano clubs, unfortunately, in the past couple of years and through COVID, haven't been able to survive. They're trying to bounce back from that because we need those clubs.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no doubt we need them. And,
back in the late 80s, I got sober. I had I didn't think I was an alcoholic, but I had this funny little crack cocaine addiction.
Oh, remember that?
Funny little one.
You were fond of Brillo?
Brillo was all over my car.
I was a Brillo guy.
Second on that glass.
So I got sober down there. First I went to a care unit in Riverside Hospital. Then I went into to Riverside Alano Club. And I got to see a lot of meetings around there, The Pacific Group, I went to them. There's a lot of really good speaker meetings out there if you're looking around for good speaker meetings.
I think
the old IE.
Riverside Community Hospital is where we were sending Alabama clients.
Yes.
I spent 3 days there and threatened to kill my doctor, and he sent me to PHP that day. That afternoon.
Yeah, when we got Chris, he was see-through. He was gray.
Yeah.
So we're...
I was
he's one
knocking
of those,
on desks.
One of those real aliens.
Yeah. So blessed to just watch him grow. And that's, what we do. And, what you do. You're in front of so many people on a daily basis, and you see that. You see the ups, downs. You see the deaths, success. And, we just take it, every day and just go what we do,
And, as you in the area for a long time, like I've been, and we get in the same area, you'll have all kinds of people go into meetings and go, oh, thank you, Roger, you saved my life.
Yeah.
And that's their story. Or they'll say, Buddy's Ranch, thank you, Buddy's Ranch, you have saved my life. Right. And we know. And their story is going to change. We know we're not saving anybody's life. Right. We couldn't even save our own damn life, let alone their life, So, but it's where they're at this time.
We're giving them the tools to make it if they so choose to follow our direction that we give.
Yeah, it's not only just the tools. It's, so you can put tools in front of them, but you have to show them how to use a little bit. What are you going to do with that? We're going to show you a little bit with that.
Right.
So with Buddy's Ranch taking off, I guess a little over a year and a half, let's say. So we're in this 12 street light town. Yuba City.
Is that what it is? 12th Street Lights?
I don't know, something like that.
It's not me.
You know what I mean? But so as Buddy's Ranch was growing and growing, we brought more people in like Chris and you and these guys that are in the background over there. Right. And all of a sudden, these people in treatment are coming into their meetings. Yeah. And these boys don't know what to do with this. You know, it's freaking them out. If they're in a big city like Vegas or something, we're kind of used to seeing people from treatment. Right. These people ain't. It's blowing them away. And they start raising their hands, saying they're from Alabama, Arkansas, Alaska,
Wyoming.
Hawaii.
Here we go.
Wyoming.
And they're going, what the hell is going on here? And it's caused a little bit of backlash, but it's been really a good.
But I think they're getting
getting
coming
better.
around.
They're getting better because they're getting used to it. They're not so fearful right now. And it was a great adjustment to this community where they had to quit just slapping each other on the back and saying, we got such great recovery. Yeah. No, you don't. If you're letting newcomers bother you, you know, your recovery needs a tune-up. Because that's what they meetings about. That's
Did you hear that? Yeah. You need a tune-up.
Yeah, you need a tune-up. Right. And I always tell the newcomers, I tell the kids coming out of the recovery units, I go, you know what a newcomer's job is? And they go, no, what? Piss the old timers off. I tell them that kiddingly, but in a way I mean it because that old timer's going to have to go into his book and find out if he wants to be a bleeding deacon or he wants to be an elder statesman.
Call his sponsor.
Oh, I know. I've been through my years. I've been on many old timers resentment lists. There is no. Hey, when they see me come in now, they're like, "Hey, you're still doing it." You know?
Yeah.
People are losing bets on you. Absolutely. Which some of them are. That's okay, but I mean, that's what it. You know, the newcomer is. You know,
the lifeblood.
The heartbeat, you know what I mean? And I know for me, you know, a lot of times, you know, when we come to AA, we forget a little bit sometimes. And I'm not going to be that guy who's going to, you know, pass by the guy who's been drinking all day, not smelling the best, not looking the best. And, you know, some people pass don't, you know, hey man, you want a cup of coffee? I'll give you a donut. I know you want a donut and some coffee, right? Yeah. I can even get you a pack of smokes if you want. Yeah. Here's my number. Even if you don't have one, have somebody dial it for you. Right. And if I'm doing that on a daily basis, you know, or I see somebody in that, you know, maybe that guy, you know, cause I've done that. And I'm not saying, you know, hey, I'm not the type of guy that's going to, you know, let everybody know how many newcomers I've given a cup of coffee to. You know, that's not the deal. But, you know, when I see them get 30 or 60, man, I'm sitting in that back going, it's not my donut, but I'm just saying, you know, that they've stayed around.
Yeah. And then another dynamic is the ones that keep relapsing over and over, but they keep showing up afterwards. Yeah. And instead of sitting there and thinking, what the hell's the matter with that guy? We need to go up and hug him and say, hey man, I'm glad you're here today. There's one more day of sobriety in your ammo, you know. Yeah. And we see that in the recovery industry too. Yeah. Yeah.
If they feel alienated.
8 to 10, well, like you even spoke of, you did close to 10 rehabs. Right. You know? Yeah.
And if they feel alienated, they will not want to continue coming to the group.
Yeah, you want to see them die under the bridge? Or would you rather see them struggle in early recovery, but still met with love and tolerance?
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
And that's, I think, what we do in treatment over at Buddy's Ranch.
We do. I mean, you know, with Buddy's Ranch, you know, the success stories are what, you know, we want to see people, you know, like, because, you know, in the dynamic of Buddies, there's, you know, 4 or 5 people who I saw first get sober and then come in, you know, and are being a part of Buddy's Ranch, you know. And
as staff.
As staff. And so I'm fired up, you know what I'm saying? You know, this does work.
2 right here.
Yeah, most definitely. And it does work. You know, and I've also seen, you know, a lot of, you know, people through the years, you know, get certified, start doing some stuff, you know. Everybody's, you know, there's this dynamic like on TikTok, you know, recovery home living, how it can be effective, how it hurts, you know, and I try not to look at anything on how it hurts, you know, to a point. I know there's people that are not going to do stuff because you see it in the homes, you know, with the people that relapse and you have to, you know, you can't keep them to a certain point anymore. But that's what we do, man. We're in the love, you know?
Yeah, sometimes we just got to come to the conclusion we're not carrying the message that's reaching them.
Right.
Let's go outside of our little sphere and see if we can find another place. We send people down to LA. Just the whole, and we know that geographicals don't work, but geographical with treatment can work.
Right. Yeah.
One thing I kind of wanted to ask Kurt is, he told me he got married in recovery. Am I correct? And she's an Al-Anon.
Yes.
So you won't be able to stray too far with a militant Al-Anon.
Correct.
But,
Correct.
But how does that dynamic work when you're both in recovery? See, I'm married, but she's supposedly a normie. But she's far from normal. But.
So tell him about the story where she was, you told her that she could have a drink.
I get to that. Well, let's get to the marriage part. So, through that, when my wife did everything for the wedding, it's just like, just go ahead, just do whatever.
Well, she's an Al-Anon.
Yeah,
that's what she's supposed to do.
No, she's crafty. She's just intelligent, right? And so she got the wedding, and we had our wedding in a place called the Doyle, and it was downtown Las Vegas, and it was right in the middle of the hood, around the corners of the homeless. It wasn't like we were going to do Caesars, but they wanted us to pick we had to use their cameraman, so we did all that. We invited like 100 people, and a lot of them were programs, and a lot of people like my kids, they want to have beers and they drink. We had alcohol at the wedding, was I nervous about any of that part of the dynamic? No. It's kind of like my wife can have a couple glasses of wine and do a shot of Jameson and not rob people or tie them up. You know what I mean? So we were good with that. Yeah. So the only concern I had is some of the high school buddies that came into the town that were, a little bit, I don't have the obsession. I've lost the obsession to drink alcohol, but sometimes when you're at a place and the behaviors, the guy's like, hey, man, how come you don't drink, homie? Yeah. What's going on? Well, I'm allergic to alcohol, big dog. Okay, how's that? Well,
break out in the handcuffs.
Right. Yeah. So, but the wedding itself was just unbelievable. It was the most beautiful day ever. The dynamic of the people that were sober, there was a lot of sobriety there, and there was a lot of people that, did, control drinking, and there was a couple people that were on tilt, and
you were uncontrolled.
The good thing about it is there was a lot of people there to do any type of intervention and needed if it happened to be at that time. You came to the right wedding, homeboy, right? So, but yeah, I mean, people have asked me, you're sober, why would you have booze at the wedding? I said, well, I can't prevent, other people from having a good time just because I can't do it. Drink like that.
It'd be like going to a concert and telling them they can't drink or smoke pot.
Yeah, smoking it's not going to happen. At Grateful Dead. Come on.
Yeah.
Right. Or do any acid.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They had the Deadheads out at the Sphere, Las Vegas, that big show that was at the Sphere. They were everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Do we even test for acid? I don't know.
No, you had to do a spinal tap or something in order to test for acid.
Yeah. So the wedding dynamic was great. It really was. And I at times, doing a group with guys, I'll put on that wedding video. Not in a sense to boast or anything like that, to show that
we can do anything.
Yeah. So when I was telling my story one time, my wife was watching me speak, and we were newly dating, and I didn't do my PG version of my story. I kept trying to look at her facial expression, while I'm telling my story of the things that I did and the people that I've hurt and the fights that I've gotten and things like that. And, and at the end of the meeting, she just, kind of said, I can't imagine you doing those things, and, today she's heard a lot of people, talk about me and, I've been around in Orange County for a while. I've been banned from certain Alano clubs because, people knew my name at a meeting and I would do things and, I'm clear now, many years later.
You were erratic at that time.
I didn't play well with anybody. So
you were stark raving sober.
I was. Yes, very, I remember that when I first got sober, the court ordered me Haldol for the first day.
Wow.
So I was sitting in the
rock pit.
It was a pretty good 30 days, until I got off. But, I mean, sobriety today, I know, I can go to concerts like you guys and I can do things like that. I don't have to, try to get that free laps with the weed in the crowd, even though it's there. But, I'm just, it's a freedom, there's alcohol in my home. My wife, has wine here and there and I'm not, and if I ever said, hey, I'm feeling uncomfortable, I'm at a place where, the booze is uncomfortable, and then she'll recognize that and go, okay, I won't have it around here or in front of you. So it's a family disease. I mean, all the way across the board. So.
Which I'm glad you bring up. Yeah. It's a family disease, but the recovery can also be a family recovery.
Right. Yes.
It's an amazing,
absolutely.
And I hope we're trying to integrate that into our treatment facilities now, where maybe we have a family day. And we're kind of new, and I'd like us to probably, I don't know what you guys think, but set up an alumni type meeting every once in a while.
Yeah, right now, our dynamic, we got the alumni part on the Facebook end, and I'm in contact with a lot of people that have left recently that are either working or not involved in the telehealth part of the program. And important to keep them, when they get ready to go, say, hey, you're part of this alumni initiative.
Yeah.
You're a Buddy Ranch family. We're not going to separate that.
Right.
We want you to stay with that,
Right.
And that's exciting because, then maybe we can bring them in here, wherever they're at, let them tell their stories of
that's what I'm
how it actually worked for them.
Yeah. When we brought in Chris Jewell that time, he was a guy that came in sober living. I sponsored him through the steps. He has another sponsor now, but after he relapsed. But it's good to see. One thing I really like too that we do, and I know Chris has been to it. I'm sure if you have been, is when we meld the sober living and the PHP people on that big Sunday meeting.
Yeah, he's
that
been
we
one.
Yeah, you had me speak at that one meeting. For a couple minutes I spoke at that. Yeah, that was unbelievable when they had did the games and all that stuff during the meeting. Yeah.
There's a couple hundred people in there, a new sobriety.
At the church, right?
And it gets them to realize how big this thing we are involved with. I mean, it's amazing. The ranch just was dropped at the right place at the right time with the right people that I think we're just doing amazing work.
Yeah. When I first got here, I instantly felt like I was home. Yeah. This place was
I hear that a lot.
Right on every aspect of it for me. It truly was. I got tearful.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah.
It saved my life.
Well, and that's what's really nice about Buddy's Ranch. Almost all the staff has walked in their shoes, in our shoes.
Yeah, we have one or two that's not, I think. Not many.
Two of the three owners have been.
Yeah. I think we have a therapist.
Desperate case.
A couple therapists.
Yeah, we might have a couple therapists and maybe a couple telehealth doctors and stuff. Mm-hmm. But they're the ultimate professionals. Right. And sometimes you don't always need to have somebody that is in it. But I think the people who want to really connect with the newcomers need to be people like Kurt and Chris and myself, people who have really been there.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that helps a lot. It really does.
It really does. It truly does.
There are some people that have, come through as far as like, the education, not an alcoholic or a drug addict and, get certified and stuff like that. And they do a lot of reading. And that's like, and I'm not saying there's anything bad with that, but the dynamic of what we've lived through and how our experience on a professional end, not only like in the program, but professionally, because I actually found a school. It's weird. Lots of school and done some things, but it's like, what can we do in certain areas? In Buddy's Ranch, the dynamic is, in the phases and the treatment episodes that we're implementing and how we take care of the clients as far as, them not being halt all the time. They're supplied with a lot of things and they're able to have those and no offense to the other treatment centers around the world, but a lot of them have a certain limitation to what they can do. And when you're more comfortable in that, you want to stay. And then as far as the group dynamic and what we're doing, it's next level. So it's just like,
I believe it.
It really is. So, I mean, I'm just proud to be a part of this. And I look forward, like I was talking to, one of the owners is like, how big do you want to get and how big can we just keep providing what we're doing? Right. And And if there's any doubt, we have a review that you can look at, and it's very good, and we're doing good things.
Right. And again, I want you to go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe here when you get an opportunity. That really helps. And there will be a comment section. Please give comments. Please even say, hey, I'd like to come on and talk sometime.
Or give us, if you don't like what we're doing, let us know.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't like what Chris is doing, let us know. I can't believe you wouldn't like what I'm doing.
Right.
But you can do that too.
Yeah. I mean, once in a while we need to, point out your character defects.
I've got a lot of them.
I mean, we know.
I kid Chris a lot because he's one of the hosts here, but I love Chris. We're in this thing together all the way through the treatment, through everything. So.
Yeah, when I first heard, the podcast was going to happen, I was like, because I'm my anonymity is part, certain things on Facebook. I really don't ever post my, date of the birthday, but people know when I was sober, you can't, it's 4/20. I mean, you can't,
That's your date?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, and,
that's hard to forget.
It is. And, I was thinking about it, and I was talking with my sponsor who's getting ready to be 40 years sober, I think.
Wow.
And he said, sometimes it's not all about you, man. So I know your ego wants to say, hey, keep a chill on it, but hey, you need to let people know what's up, and how your life has changed, so.
And that's what's kind of a blessing in the field that we work with. We don't have to be super anonymity conscious. We can own up to who we were. What happened. And where we're at today.
Absolutely right. Because we're not the person we were what we were once.
Yeah, and I do that a lot, when I'm meeting with clients or they're getting ready to graduate and get that certificate. I will show them either via telehealth in person, and I'll show them their detox picture, and I go, remember this guy?
I remember when you did me that way.
Yeah, and they get emotional, they start to get emotional, I guess, because you're not the same guy or girl that's come in here. You put in work here at Buddy's Ranch.
Not only do they not look the same, they don't feel the same.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, goosebumps. Goosebumps. Right?
Chicken skin.
Yeah. So, and, behind the scenes and the community that's, when I was driving around here, of course, with all the chickens and roosters that are hanging around and following me around, I just look and it's peaceful to me, because Vegas is pretty busy, but we live on the side of town. It's not too bad, but when I get out here, this is good.
If you guys don't know what he's talking about with the chickens and roosters, Yuba City has roosters and chickens running amok everywhere, and you actually will get in trouble if you harm one.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, you're not supposed to feed them anyway.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I saw them feeding them at In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Well, we have some in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
We got feral cats and feral chickens. Somehow they live together. I guess that's what recovery does to animals.
Right.
That's kind of like what we did. We got little chickens and some feral cats.
Yeah.
You want to go to a meeting? A little cat?
Yeah, it's crazy. But we had those chickens in the neighborhood, what we call the hood. We got 10 sober living houses in there and one treatment facility. So we call it the hood. But we had feral chickens there. And the girl's house was feeding them. And somehow a county person saw them feed them. They wrote her a ticket.
How much was the ticket?
I don't know. I never checked.
It really doesn't matter. It's really a first for everything.
Yeah, no shit.
She probably took off because she had some old warrants to take care of.
Catch me if you can. Yeah. We're back to, the meetings. Kurt said something to me or to my group whenever I was in treatment one time. We were talking about meetings, and he said, if you sit in the back in the Dare to Get Sober section, you're not really going to hear what you need to hear. And that struck a chord with me. That stuck with me. And I made sure after that, because I used to be one of the ones that sat in the very, very back.
You got out as fast as
now I get my ass right up there in front.
And the reason I noticed that is I drank in that section. I had a flask in my boot. the speakers were out, and I was drinking in the middle of an AA meeting. The guy says, "Man, like that guy back there drinking in the Dare to Get Sober section." Old timer said that, and he said to me, and I was real angry. He says, "I spilt more than you drank." That's what the old timer said. And I said, "Well, if you didn't spill so much, old timer, you would have got here quicker, And that guy loved on me, dude. Every day I showed up, he goes, "You got the flask?" I go, "Do." He goes, "Finish it up. Let's talk." And that's what the old timers did, back in Clancy dudes, and you were talking about, wearing a tie at the meeting. So
the Pacific Group
and Bellflower,
and newcomers didn't talk except for one day a week, and one day a week you had to be a newcomer to speak.
That's great.
That's cool, actually.
Well, it is not if you're a newcomer.
No. But I mean, that's what I tell the guys. My sponsor had said something to me about it. We got a lot. You guys we appreciate you bringing, the clients, because recovery is a great thing and everybody deserves it. But you got some of these newcomers that get up there and they go to speak and they just ramble the craziest bullshit that's not even on topic.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's all right. Meet them after the meeting.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Take them out for some coffee and talk coffee with them. Okay. You know what? That's what I say. They were all in a tizzy over at this one girl. I'll say it, Speakeasy. They were all in a tizzy. So because people were saying alcoholic addict, or they were just saying addict in a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. And that doesn't bother me. I just know it's a newcomer who hasn't been used to the protocol and the
new to it.
The ethics and all that stuff. So they made 4 of their 7-night meetings closed.
Yeah.
Just to stop those people from doing it. Right. And we all know in AA there's only one rule. That's rule number 62. Don't take yourself so damn seriously. Right. So these people made this rule, and it's just being ignored. I mean, we as a treatment facility have got better educating our people, but there's still people who say it.
Yeah.
There's still people who are bringing children into a closed meeting.
Yeah. Right.
And they got called on the carpet for that by one woman. She read what a closed meeting is, and she said, I have a 9-year-old girl, and if I need a meeting, I'm bringing her in. I'll be damned for you to tell me I can't come to a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah. And we need to remember money, property, and prestige diverse from our primary purpose, and power.
Yeah, power.
Thing, like, hey, listen, this is what's going down. It's like, well, I'm going to still bring in this stinky, puke guy that says alcoholic addict.
Yeah.
And he might talk, so be ready. I hope your sponsor's near so you can get with him.
Yeah, so you don't go relapse.
There he is. Go talk to your sponsor because, and I've seen you interact with new people, and no matter what's going on, no matter, anything.
We got a big tizzy. This girl came up and she said something about the new people, and she goes, "It really bothers me when people come into a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous and say they're an addict and stuff." So I listened to her. I respect. I didn't cross-talk, but I went to her after the meeting, and I go, "You know what? Why don't you just go up to some of those people, put your arm around them, take them for coffee?" And she goes, "Well, I don't have time to do that." And then a couple guys wanted to defend her and got into it with me. And we had a little bit of elevated voices talking.
That happens.
And when we left, all the newcomers were around me.
Right.
And all the better than us newcomer alcoholics were on the other side. Yeah. And I just looked at it and I said, I'm so glad I'm with these people and not them.
Right. Yeah, I think sometimes, with that, the traditions and, they talk about, we live in a recovery stage where traditions are broken, the things that are happening, and we have to take a look at that as far as, Alcoholics Anonymous. But, I mean, hey, I'm the type of guy that's going to go up and talk to you. I'm not the type of guy that's going to say, hey, here's a sober living. This guy's been doing it for years. There's structure in that because, the structure and then all of it is what's going to save their lives.
Exactly.
You know,
accountability and structure.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, and if we're not looking for that, and we do offer that, we do offer that on both ends, which is, very, very helpful.
It is. It
totally through the treatment world, through the years and the brokering that's been happening, and unfortunately, it's kind of put a damper. If you there's a lot of TikTok groups that talk about, hey, we're cold and be careful and stuff like that.
Right.
And I just love what I do.
There's been a topic going around the meetings for about a week or so, and I just want to see what your guys' thought on it. And it's been expectations. I sat and listened to everybody about expectations, and then I realized something. My expectations, when I came into Alcoholics Anonymous in treatment at the first, were so low.
Yeah.
If you would have told me 22 years ago I'd be sitting with you two on a podcast talking about recovery, being involved with the ranch, being involved with the house, I would have looked at both of you and said, man, you guys need to be drug tested. You're crazy. And the blessings I've gotten just by staying sober a day at a time and working however faultingly I do the spiritual program, I'm blessed beyond belief.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we've just got a few more minutes left.
What do you guys think about your expectations?
Well, when I got here or when I first got here?
Compared to when you got here?
When I first got here, I wouldn't even imagine being near you guys for anything other than, hey, let's share some ramen and county. But that's the only thing. But, the expectations now is more on myself and what I can do to better myself. Not because if I don't have my outside program, this what we do here as far as on a business end and treatment end, it's not going to connect. So my expectations are for me to keep both of them going and
let God do the work.
Well, got it.
Right.
Absolutely. You got to have that higher power or you're not. Yes, absolutely. I feel the same way, man. When I first came to treatment, I was going to do 45 days and you go back home to the
we stopped that at about 10 days on them. You got to do 45. And I said, hey, you got this big, nice place to go to and all this, things that are happening. Let's play the tape through, homeboy, because your way
that changed. My expectations changed definitely. And I would always say Kurt would do a group every week and we would say our names and how much clean time we had and what we wanted to do. And I always said, I want to work in the treatment field.
You did?
Every time.
And I let people know that are here that want to do that or be a part of this, that, make sure they have plan D before they can do it because not everybody's going to fit into the model here to a sense. So there are some people that have, and we're super grateful because they're doing absolutely fantastic. But,
this job's not for everybody.
Well,
it's not.
It's but
you got to have certain skill sets. You got to have certain opportunities.
You got to have a tough skin.
And
you got to be a little.
Anyway, we're getting close to the end. I want to thank Kurt here for joining us. I want to thank
you guys
joining me and Chris here.
Can I get a Ric Flair?
Woo! Yes.
Woo!
Yeah. Here we go.
And maybe that ought to be our exit.
I'm telling you.
But anyway,
I'm telling you.
I just want to again ask you to subscribe and like this.
Subscribe, like, and so we can get on out to more people who might need some help, man. And if you want to come down and be on the podcast, come on down, man.
Come on down.
Leave a city and leave us a comment. We'll give you the address.
Look us up.
Absolutely. My name's Chris. This is Kurt.
I'm Kurt.
I'm Roger, and I want to thank you all for tuning in and listening to us today.
Yes, thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by Buddy's Ranch and Buddy's House, the premier recovery destinations in Northern California. We believe in the power of community and connection to support individuals on their journey to recovery. Hey, if you like what you've seen today, subscribe and hit that little like bell so we can get out to more people like you that may need help. Thanks for watching.